504,000 people, more than the entire population of Liverpool. So that's the net migration numbers arriving in the UK in the 12 months until June, in the midst of a cost of living crisis with record NHS waiting lists and pressure on our housing system like we haven't seen before. It's the highest level since World War II, twice the number predicted. And those figures, check this out, they don't even include the 40,000 plus who have already arrived illegally this year alone on small boats across the Channel as part of the invasion via our southern border. I don't need to tell you, this level of migration is completely unsustainable. It's also a betrayal of what we were promised when we voted for Brexit, in part to regain control of our borders and stop free movement. We were told the figure was meant to be reduced to as low as 100,000 a year after Brexit. So what the hell is going on? The government points to foreign students and the one-off humanitarian policy to take in Ukrainians and Hong Kongers. But that isn't the end of the story. For example, 130,000 work visas to Indian folk have been granted this year, with 98% of those who applied for a visa being granted one. 98%. That doesn't sound like an Australian points-based system to me. I've got to be honest with you, I'm angry about this now because once again, all we're being offered by our current Prime Minister, Fishy Rishi Sunak, and the likely next Prime Minister, Slippery Keir Starmer, is weasel words. Weasel words rather than a hard and fast commitment to reduce our level of migration.
Government's policy and my policy is that we will want to reduce net migration over time, but I don't want to. I'm not going to put an arbitrary number on it because I want to be honest with people. And I think right now our number one challenge is getting a grip of the number of illegal migrants coming, and that's the thing I want to focus on first. I think that's what, by the way, the British public rightly want us to focus on.
Our common goal must be to help the British economy off its immigration dependency, to start investing more in training workers who are already here. Migration is part of our national story. Always has been, always will be. But let me tell you, the days when low pay and cheap labour are part of the British way on growth must end.
Yeah, but the lack of any commitment to specific figures is pathetic. Because what choice do we have as the public when both major party leaders refuse to talk about hard and fast figures? Once again, the only senior cabinet minister who has been prepared to set a limit, in her mind at least, is the Home Secretary, Superwoman Suella Braverman, who wants the numbers down to the tens of thousands but has her hands tied.
Yes, I still stand by the Brexit promise and by our 2019 manifesto pledge to reduce overall numbers on migration, and that's my very, very firmly held view. And David Cameron famously said, tens of thousands, no ifs, no buts. So that would be my ultimate aspiration.
And again, she's right, but her hands are tied by Sunak and Hunt. Here's the thing, immigration could cost the Conservatives the next election on its own. And if they continue the Tyno, that's Tory in name-only approach, then that becomes a near certainty. Take the latest poll for Redfield and Wootton showing that Labour is beating the Sunak Conservatives in the Red Wall by 53% to 39%. So Braverman, she's in a difficult position, said today, we remain committed to reducing migration over time in line with our manifesto commitment. This level of migration has put pressure on accommodation and housing supply, health, education and other public services. We must ensure we have a sustainable, balanced and controlled approach, which is why we continue to keep our immigration policies under review. And the PM's spokesperson acknowledged our borders are broken. But how the hell will Sunak fix this national emergency without stopping the boats or pledging to reduce net migration to the tens of thousands? Rhetoric is no longer good enough. We need a plan.